Hey, what's going on, guys? It's HawksNest here, back with another video. Now, in today's video, I tried to do something that I've never really done before, and that is turn a drawing into something realistic. Now, this idea was inspired by Benny Productions. I've been watching a lot of his videos, and I actually did a video recently, my last one, which was a lot like another video series that he's done. So I've been not necessarily copying him, but been really inspired by a lot of the stuff that he's done lately. So I just wanted to kind of try my hand at it and see if I was capable of doing it inside of Photoshop. But anyway, very recently, I think yesterday, Logan Paul actually opened up, I believe, a Pokemon First Edition booster box. Sorry, I don't really know the exact terms for that stuff, but basically he opened a really rare Pokemon box, and he was able to pull a shiny Charizard inside of that, which sounds super nerdy, but it's actually a really big deal because that card alone that he pulled, I believe, sells for like right around 100k. I think it was like 75k or something like that. If you guys want to get more details on all that stuff, he's probably gonna make a video soon, or you can just research into it yourself. But anyway, in commemoration of him actually pulling that Charizard, I just wanted to try to make an artwork where he's standing next to a Charizard essentially. And at first, when I was gonna do this, I was gonna do a ton of different Pokemon, but then as I got more into the Charizard, I realized that I wouldn't be able to do that because that would literally take me probably weeks to do it. So I just decided to stick with the main Charizard, and also initially I was just gonna do him as like a cartoon and kind of color match it with the lighting and all that and make it look like it was kind of realistic. But then I really wanted to try actually making it look realistic, adding, you know, dragon textures, adding teeth, making the wings look like wings, getting all the lighting right, just making everything look super realistic. So obviously that's what you guys are seeing right now. And again, this is my first attempt at actually doing anything like this. I've never really done much photo manipulation, much less trying to make something that's like a drawing or a cartoon look realistic. And I have watched a couple videos of Benny Productions trying this, so I did kind of apply some of the concepts that he talked about inside of his videos inside of mine. So mostly what I was doing was getting textures and warping it to make it match the different, just the way that the skin would move and the way that the bones would move and everything, just trying to make it look really natural and have that correct curvature. And then the thing that really sold the effect was going to be the lighting, so I just tried to get the shadows and the light really well done. And obviously the only light source inside of this base photo, which I used of Logan just kind of like standing in the middle of a road, was just sunlight. So there's going to be a really harsh light coming from the left and leaving really harsh shadows. If you look at like the feet and all that, you can see that. And then obviously there would be a little bit of a softer shadow anywhere that there's a very soft curve. Like if you look at Logan's left arm or his right arm, you can see that it goes from really light on the left side to really dark on the right side as like a gradient because his arm is curved. So anywhere there was curved body parts on the dragon or Charizard, I was just trying to match that really well. And I've never really done this, so it was kind of a learning experience as I went, trying to get the lighting to match as well as I could. By the final product, I still think there was some things I missed, and it was just really difficult to get right. I tried a bunch of different variations and just got as close as I could, but overall I think it came out pretty decently, especially on the right wing. The right wing came out like the Charizard's right wing, not the right wing from your guys' perspective. I think that came out really realistic. Left wing also was okay. By the end, I think the thing that I didn't do the super best was going to be Charizard's face, just because, I don't know, lighting that was really difficult. I do think it came out pretty decent, but it was tough. And basically all the textures I got was just from different like reptiles and stuff. I used 3 different main textures. I used like a reptile skin for most of the body of Charizard, and then I used a bone texture for the wings, not necessarily like the wing flaps, but like the top of the wings where it looks kind of like bone, I guess. And then the third texture was just a reptile skin for the wings that I made blue. Also, what I noticed as I was going was something that really sold the effect was adding a harsh shadow on the edge of anywhere that there wouldn't be main light. So like a really harsh black shadow that really outlined whatever I was working on and separated it from the background. Because I did notice with the drawing, there's black lines around everything to really outline and separate different parts of the body, which I knew that doesn't happen in real life necessarily. There's no black like line around everything. So I was trying to figure out how to make that look really good, and I just noticed it had to be really harsh lighting, whether it's harsh lighting from the sun hitting the edge or harsh shadows from there being no light at all. And then also for the tail wrap, that actually took me a little while because I had to try to get it perfectly. Initially I thought I'd use just like a snake and just kind of like match the snake's tail or something to it, but I couldn't really find a good photo. And also obviously I wanted the texture to match of like the scales and everything, so I used the exact same photo and just used 2 different ones and then did some shadows. And honestly, I think it came out pretty decently. And then by the point where I was working on like the hands and the knuckles and the claws and everything, this was pretty difficult as well because the hands, I guess, or just claws or paws or whatever, have have a lot of different curvature because there's very thin skin there, and then a bunch of bones and everything and tendons, which I had a tough time matching. I think it came out decently, but still not super realistic. And also by the end, I noticed that one of the problems that I did have was when I was lighting like the arms and everything, I would light one side of the arm and then the other side of the arm, which gave it this very flat feeling where it just kind of looks like it's like beveled and embossed on the edges. It doesn't really look like it's rounded necessarily, just because the lighting is a little too thin on each side, whereas it should be a little bit more circular, I guess. Again, it's kind of hard to explain, but I think that's one of the things I could have improved on, but it looks pretty decent. But again, that effect where it was just kind of on the edges made it look a little bit more cartoony, I guess, and not as authentic as it could be. And then the legs were the exact same issue. I was just trying to get the lighting right and everything. And another big problem with this was I was trying to match the sunlight as best as I could and predict where the shadows were, because again, I wasn't using any kind of 3D software here, so every shadow that I was doing had to be based on the Charizard's other body parts as well as Logan, which I didn't really worry about Logan's shadow too much at the while I was actually working on this. I decided to add that in at the end because obviously Logan is standing in front of Charizard, so he cast kind of a big shadow, which I tried to match as best as I could, and I think that actually came out pretty decently. But yeah, so right now at this point, just kind of color matching everything, trying to get the shadows right. Also, the tail is a little dark right now. Don't worry, I'll color match that really soon. And then right here, I wanted to add a Squirtle, which I think actually came out pretty decently, but then I just pulled him away because I just pulled that image off the internet and I didn't want to put that in with the Charizard because the Charizard was something I actually spent a lot of time on. And by the way, in terms of time, every 1 second that passes by from your perspective, that's about a minute from mine. So for 80 seconds, it'd be about 80 minutes. Anyway, right now I'm just trying to color match everything still, just trying to get all the shadows right and everything. And yeah, I think at this point, I'm pretty much just touching up everything. I think I got all the base pieces, all the skin and textures down and everything. Actually, no, so the fire right here was pretty simple. Just pulled 2 fire elements from Envato Elements and then lighted everything to make it match as best as I could, just getting that orange hue that kind of casts off. I don't think I did any on the wing just because it didn't really look natural, because I think the wing would be a little bit ahead of it. Although I probably should have done a very slight glow kind of coming through it, because the wing skin should be a little bit transparent, but I don't think it's a big deal. Yeah, at this point, just touching up all the lighting, trying to get the glow of the fire to be pretty good. And then I also considered putting a Rayquaza flying through the background, but that just didn't look any good. At this point, just doing camera raw filter to get everything right and adding a tilt shift to the back of the tail because the tail is kind of far. And in this photo, there is a pretty blurry background, so a pretty shallow depth of field. So decided to just blur the farthest element, which was the tail, and left everything else pretty much in focus just because it all was pretty much in the same kind of plane that Logan is. And then yeah, just camera raw filter, trying to get everything to look pretty right. And then I also wanted to do something where I kind of like make it look like a 3D effect. So I exported the individual elements, threw them into After Effects, and then separated all the pieces in 3D space, and then moved the camera through just so I could have this kind of cool effect. And then I also added a puppet effect to kind of make the body pieces move separately. And this is what it looked like as the final piece as a GIF for Twitter, as well as the final just finished image. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I apologize if the commentary wasn't super there. I wanted to just leave the speed art as fast as possible because this was a very long project. I think it was something like 8 hours. I legit didn't sleep. Like, I think I went to bed at like 11 a.m. But yeah, it's a pretty long project. Just wanted to kind of commentate and give a little bit more details instead of just having music play in the background and have it kind of be boring. But yeah, so if you enjoyed this kind of video, definitely let me know down below and I'll do more stuff like this because I really enjoy creative projects like this. But with all of that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed and I will see you later. Peace.